To start off building this fence, we removed the falling down old barbed wire fence that was here, and we chose our corner post locations for the fence layout. So in this case, this is a simple fence. It's straight, there's no changes of direction, and it's about 280 feet long. So we decided we're going to do 40-foot line post spacings on this high tensile fence, and we chose our corner post locations to get a nice straight run. And we decided to reuse the original corner post on this side and drove a new one on the other side. But the first step in building your fence is going to be to choose those corner post locations, drive the corner posts and any change of direction posts before you even build your brace post. So you want to put those corners in, put in the changes of direction, and then pull yourself a guide wire. So your guide wire is going to become one of your fence wires, obviously, but you can just run it from corner to corner or around any changes of direction, and then lightly tension it and get any bends out of the line so that it's running straight. And that'll help you not only choose the position of your line posts down the way, but it'll also help you put in your brace post at the right location. Once you've got your brace built, the next step is going to be to mark your wire locations on the corner post and then tie off your insulators using a termination knot, which we're going to demonstrate in this video. So I'm going to choose where I want my marker to go, and I'm going to mark my wire locations on the end of the post, the outside of the post, and then that allows me to drive some staples in to hold each of the wires. And it's a good idea to use a different mark for your hot wires and your ground wires. I like to use an X for the hot wires and a line for the ground wires. And as I mentioned before, I've got my hot wires marked with red and my ground wires marked with white tape so I can tell them apart. So I've got those marks in. So on your high tensile electric fence, you could have all hot wires, or you could have some hot wires and some ground wires. In this case, we're alternating from the ground up. Our wires go ground, hot, hot, ground, hot, hot. And all of our hot wires are going to have an insulator tied to the post and then the hot wire tied to the insulator to prevent current from leaking back to the ground. The ground wires can just be tied directly to the post. But for tying the insulators on or for tying the ground wires to the post, we're going to use a knot called a termination knot. I like to have the insulators pulling kind of biased over to the side of the fence where the wires are going to be, and you can kind of set that up when you set it up to pull. Now I'm going to attach the wire that we had previously pulled out as our guide to this insulator right here. So I'm going to put my chain strainer around the post, and I'm going to put it so that it's pulling straight on the side where my wire is going to be. Just got my chain hook on there. Sometimes people will put the end of the chain through your wire strainer, but that will bend it over time. So it's nice if you've got a chain hook on the other side of it. I've got the other end of my strainer clamped onto the guide wire, and then I'll hook that claw right onto the chain, and then using these two claws, I'll walk the wire up the chain, walk the strainer up the chain to take some of the slack out of the wire. Now, that gives me plenty on the end to tie this off. And we're going to strain it up with an inline strainer at the end. So this doesn't have to be super tight. It's nice to leave a little bit of slack in it. So I'm going to leave myself enough room to make this knot and then cut that off. Cut off that excess. So to tie the other end of the wire off on the insulator, you put it through the other hole, and similarly, you want to put a bend in it and try to have it cross over right in the middle. So I'm going to leave a bit of a tail on this, and that's going to allow me to connect my two hot wires together without an additional insulated wire, my two adjacent hot wires. So I'm going to put my crank handle way down here and cross those two wires over. Watch your eyes. And then we're going to put 5 tight loops in this side as well. So again, you're going to need to hold onto the insulator in order to make those turns so that it doesn't rotate. and you can kind of rotate the insulator to get a little bit more turn out of each one, especially when you're running that long tail around. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4,